I had it painted this year. It's a 1984 Westie. You can see the camper there. Up top, we have the solar panel that was inspired by Ghost Split. If you haven't seen Ghost Split's channel, you should check it out. He's in Florida, but that's pretty much exactly the install that I did. You can see it better there. There we go. It's gonna be a lot of raw footage. It's gonna be a little shaky. I apologize. I'm gonna be backing it out. You're gonna hear me start it up. And one thing when you get your, okay, sorry, that was one of my automation things. The door handle, new paint job, and this handle, oops, I can't see where this handle when you go down, it's scraping against the paint. That's not great. So just more stuff. I'm running a van. Here it is. Oops. See, I didn't even prep the inside. That's sunshade. Just give you a little tour before. Here's the inside. Pretty clean. This is how it came installed when I got it a couple years ago. And that's my Renogy box there. Eventually the solar will connect into here too. That's actually one of my projects maybe for tomorrow. But for now, what it does, it's still doing something, but it's managing between the house battery and the main battery here. Oops, that kind of slid off. So it's the engine battery and the house battery's back here. That's it. So we're going to start this thing up. Let's see. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's go ahead. Okay. Let's see how we can do this. Again, it's going to be a lot of shaky footage. Got a tripod here. Bear with me. Actually, I wanted to show you. I've got it dialed in nicely now. So I haven't started it in probably, I think about 5 days or so. Let's get you a better shot here. There's the key. We're gonna get it into this mode here. There we go. So you can hopefully see, yeah. I need to do a video on this thing too. Just so much going on. All right, so I'll lower that. Yeah, that's a better shot. Still good. Okay, there we go. So we are going to start it. I will not be pressing on the accelerator. I just have the clutch in, put the emergency brake on, put her in neutral. And we've got, that's it, clutch is in, emergency brake on. I'm not touching the gas. We're gonna start it up. The moment it starts, I'm not touching it, but you can see the RPMs. By the way, this thing, I don't think I have it wired right to the right location, but it'll go out on me and then it comes back to life. Can't explain it. All right, let's give it a whirl. Here we go. Without touching the gas. It's exciting. Can't do better than that. There, now this little computer wakes up. This is just for the tires, tells me the pressure, tire pressure for everything. Those are the main things that I have. All right, so let's back it up. I've done live stream. When I was e-biking, I did a lot of live streaming. I haven't been doing a lot of, here I'm setting the tripod. Oops. You have to have like a lot of patience, bear with me. Why don't I put my seatbelt on? Just backing up. We're gonna wash the van. All right. Oh, funny story. I was backing up one time and oops, dang it, portrait mode, and I banged the door. Then I had to get that fixed. All right, so now we're backing up. So now I'm a lot more careful, needless to say. There's a big drop off, like by 1 inch on this thing. Let me back it up. There we go. We are free and clear. Kind of a hazy blue day today, the weather. You're in the van. And then here we are. Again, still idling pretty good. It's funny, when it first starts, it idles a little on the low end, actually right where it should be, the sweet spot, in my opinion. And then as it warms up, it gets a little higher, but really very happy with it. Looks like it's been doing well. Hey man, it's, okay, we've got the hose right there. I'm just gonna like scoot it up to this point. If you guys have any questions, feel free. There we go. Okay, we're gonna kill the power. The lovely, I don't know, is anybody else's Vanagon? I've got to like, you have to kind of slam the door. That's it. It looks good. Very happy with the way this thing turned out. And we kept this stuff here. The Wolfsburg edition just got the brown look that it wasn't something I was super thrilled with. Same with my wife. We just were like, oh, let's change it up. We own it. Oh, that's a good shot right there, if I do say so. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is prep some natural soap. Just sit back, relax, grab a drink. I don't know, whatever you feel like. Could be coffee, could be something stronger with the coffee. Here, I'll take you. We'll go walk over here, so you're not just staring constantly at the fan. This is a great setup here. I have to actually walk through the fence to turn this thing on. I do like this hose though. It expands up to 100 feet. Looks like a snake. Entertaining. All right. Still want our little Chihuahua. You've seen some of our videos of when we were living in the van. We have a little Chihuahua, and she might get out. There, so it's just gonna be, not like there's been any stress in the world. It's all good. Okay. Got water. Oh yeah, we should probably make sure that everything's shut. I think it is. Soap. It's brand new, so we gotta undo this thing. Let me see if that. There we go. Oh, okay. I see a message there. Sorry, I didn't have the chat thing. I was wondering about that. Does anyone randomly stop? Don't go away. Oh, come on. YouTube, please. Offer to buy your van. No, it's interesting. We went to the other day, went to go get some firewood at the Tractor Supply place. Pour soap in here. And it was cool. If you have low self-esteem, you have a lot of people that come up to you and go, oh my God, I love this van. We went there were two people. One person was a customer coming out, and the guy wanted to take pictures of it. And then as they were bringing the firewood to us, the lady helping out, she also commented on the van. So you do get a lot of comments, people liking the van, obviously very nostalgic. But no one yet has offered money, cash money. And at times, I wonder how much I would sell it for. I have a spreadsheet. If you go to my YouTube channel and the link through there, you'll see a Google sheet. And I've dumped a lot of money, unfortunately. I wasn't planning on that, but the whole engine snafu, if you go through and look at all that, it's in the 40 range. I bought it, I thought I got a good deal when I bought it, and I did had I replaced the hoses when I first bought it. If there's any one thing I could recommend is getting all brand new hoses. I don't care what age it is. I could have spent probably $500-600 on hoses, and I wouldn't have had to gone through all the headaches that I went through. But anyway, now it's really good shape. If you hang out later after we wash the van, I'll show you the engine, and you'll see it's a Go Westy. And you know, I had some troubles with that too initially, but they worked with me. They were great, and it got all fixed up, so that was good. So now what we're gonna do is let's just walk around and make sure we've got everything shut. Yeah, that's. I did a video. I was so happy to do this video. I did a video on these. These get loose though. Should put some Loctite on them. But I didn't like the cheesy lock knobs or whatever they're called. I'm sure they're not called that. Doorknobs. Doorknob locks. I don't know. These are all new seals too. When we had it painted, I got those all replaced. This thing is in really darn good shape. Although, you know, it's funny when you have these, you're always like, oh, I can always spend money on something else, right? I think we're good. It's all closed up. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, I think we're good there. All right, let's go back to that view. And now we're gonna watch. So again, grab a drink. If you have any questions too, I will pull it up on this other phone. See if I can do this. I think I can. I think I can see the chat here as well. Here, we're gonna switch here. Go to this. Be patient. I'm just trying to get to where I can see the chat on this phone. Just about there. A lot of unedited. There we go. Yeah, much better. There we go. Hearing myself. Okay. Cool. So I can see this. If anybody does leave a question or has a question. In the meantime, what I can do is kind of bring you along for the ride. That is kind of the point. These were also obviously not stock wheels. They're third-party wheels I got. I still am happy with them. I don't know if I'm totally thrilled with them, but good enough for now. I did a video also on installing a new gas tank. I was really proud of that, or at least removing the other one. I had to ultimately get those hose lines done by a RV place, but I was very happy with all the work that I did on that. It felt good. It's good when you can accomplish some of that. I also installed the exhaust pipes before the engine blew. Those are brand new. And the charcoal canister video I just uploaded, another one where I'm like, why they don't have a better solution for the charcoal canister, I have no idea. They put some nice piping here, because as you can imagine, if you're painting a two-tone van, there's this split here, and they put some black piping. I think that turned out well. I do say so. Oh, look at my wheels are dirty. That's kind of the point, isn't it? Let's see if I got here. Oh yeah, I can show you. So the Arturo, my mechanic, when he was installing, he did a great job here for the Renogy power management system. This little square box right there, that's the battery, not the house battery, but the main engine battery right there. And then he connected in the power lines for the Renogy unit. There is, believe it or not, there's one more thing that I'm thinking about doing, but I don't think I need to now because I think I fixed the other problem. There's a gas line replacement. Mine's pretty clean, but I had that problem where I could smell gas fumes when I would park it in the garage. And but it seems like replacing the charcoal canister did the trick. And by the way, there it is right there. So I'm like 90% happy with the way it went. There's always a percentage when it's not perfect, but anyway. But yeah, ever since I installed that, you don't smell the gas vapor. There are two things that helped with that. Replacing the gas lines for the engine, and the other was that charcoal canister. The moment I did that, it didn't have, you couldn't smell gas fumes. It's funny, when we were van lifing, we were staying at this hotel because, again, the engine had issues. There was a house that we used to walk by, and the guy had a classic, really cool, it wasn't a Westie, it was a classic van, or bus, excuse me, I know some people, it's a Volkswagen bus, classic. And that thing, it smelled like a gas station or worse. And we actually left a note, it was so bad. I told the guy, hey, I don't know if you realize this thing smells really strong. So, yeah, there's my Go Westie branding right there for the old engine, which I'll show you later if you stay with me. It's not leaking anymore either, which is good. Everything's looking really clean down there. I gotta try to concentrate on what I'm doing. So we're just washing the car here. Hopefully you guys find this relaxing. Oh, by the way, these fog lights I'm super happy with, and the install. Go Westie sells these brackets. This grill removes so easily. And then it's got self-tapping screws, and you just screw those in, and then, you take the lines and you push it through the other side, blah, 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 but it all turned out really well, I think. It gives you way extra bright lights, even though I did install LED headlights in here. It still gives you, it's so much easier to see the road. So I highly recommend some. But without it looking too, different, it still looks, I think, classic. Let's try to closing this down. I probably should do this in the shade. Let's do this here. I'm gonna set that there. What are we gonna do? Oh man, seriously? Even though I haven't used this thing, I think I went somewhere and I had to lock it up. Okay. Here's a view of the solar panel. Oh yeah, that's dirty. We gotta hose that down. So let's do that. I'll set it like that. Good. Now, let's soap it up. We are going to start putting this, lean back a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Well, that's going to have to do for now. definitely, in the short time that we did van life, we were definitely creating a ton of, I think, cool memories. We'll always have. So that part's been nice, but this whole thing has been so weird. We'll probably, when it warms up a little bit more, I think in a couple of months, we'll probably take it to Joshua Tree, which isn't too far from here, and give it a spin. That thing works so well, though. So much fun to camp in. Here, actually, I don't want it, the soap sitting there. This part. There we go. Tires will be last. That's obviously the dirtiest part of the car. Wheels. One thing I like about being in the high desert is in Southern California is you still have a cool air, cool breeze, at least during winter time, versus like down in the Orange County area. You don't really get much of that. It's mostly like right now. I think it's like 70, 75 in Irvine. Close this off. We'll do the old rinse cam here. Like I said, we'll clean the wheels later. This is the last thing we do. That split window, you have to be careful not to hit it at an angle because you will get water in there. By the way, I don't have a fridge anymore. I did the delete kit. The Go Westy delete kit, because the refrigerator, if you read up on it, the stock fridge will never get colder than, I think, 40 degrees of the outside temperature. So I know I tried desperately to get that thing working. I had it working one time, and it would not work after that. And I was like, oh, I want to keep the original fridge. And I didn't want to mess around with all the other stuff, you know. But I just couldn't get it to work. But anyway, so I just did a fridge delete, and eventually we're gonna get a different solution for that. I haven't figured out what yet. So we're now gonna work on the back end of the van. Definitely recommend new seals on the windows if you get a chance. It looks so much cleaner and gives you a better seal, obviously, being brand new. Mine had at least on my 84, it had these like plastic, it used to be chrome, fake chrome, but they were plastic painted like chrome inserts, and it just looked hideous after a period of time. So I was really happy to get rid of that. Funny, oh geez. And by the way, too, I bought this is on Go Westy, yeah. They sell these adhesive stickers that you can apply over. I mean, they're good quality, but realistically, they just don't. It's a sticker, right? So it's never gonna really. You can see, even hear the G. And this is like, I just put this on this year, but unless you baby it, it's just gonna keep peeling off. So one day, I don't know, somebody should come up with a better solution there, or just let it be. That's it. That's what we've learned. All right. Close this off. Halfway done. Oh, 3/4 of the way done. Depending on how you measure sides, though. And now we're gonna go over here. Let's set you up over here. Loosen this up. There we go. It's a better view. I gotta get the roof too. It's tricky. Velcro. We had a Velcro piece there, so when we are camping, keep the bugs out. There's a net that we bought. And we didn't go with a, well, I'd say like a commercial solution, because we found them kind of spendy. It's kind of funny when you think about it. We just got one on Amazon. They had one that was a smaller profile, and then we just cut the base of it, and it worked really well. So that's what that is. There we go again. Get that squared away. All right, I think we are building. That takes care of that. We're going to hit the roof best we can. why the chat doesn't show up all the time, but there we go. Ink. Okay, now let's journey up to the top of the roof. I can get this where you can see it too. That is not gonna work. Ooh, there we go. If you try hard enough, you can get it to work. Hang in there. This Renogy solar panel has been working really well. My install varied though from got a split. I don't know his real name, but mine varied. He went under the tent. There's like a seal in between this side and this side. There's a seal at the base of the tent. He went under through there to get the solar inside. I ran mine out, you can see it right here, underneath along the rain channel here. And then mine was originally and I don't know if this is true with all Vanagons, mine was originally with air conditioning, and there's a hole that was pre-drilled. So both of these lines fit without any extra work. So I've got them going through there, and the wires just come through and land perfectly. So I went with that solution. So I went a little bit different than his, although I don't know what his configuration is. All right, we have to unlock the door here. There we go. It obviously was not organized when I did all this, but it's okay. None of us have anything to do. All right. Seriously? Oh my. No, that's okay. Just gotta let that go. All right, now let's go back and do maybe this view. Oh no, wait, no, we can do. I got this side. I like what they did too. This part was interesting because when you paint your van a different color, it's really tricky unless you want to spend gobs of money. Mine was kind of that weird light. It's like a weird tan color with the brown tan, is what a darker brown tan. It had a bit of a pink hue to it, which was strange. But what they did is we wanted to kind of we didn't want to repaint this whole top because first of all, I think it would have peeled, or who knows what would have looked horrible. Kind of still wanted to pay homage to keep the original. So, and plus you'd have to like really, some people online, I've seen what they do. It's incredible. They strip everything out of the van. I just did, at the end of the day, it's going to be what it is. So what they did though, is they used black, a flat black. You can see that, which I think worked out well. So this, in fact, under the flat black is a dark brown. So that they just blacked that out. And I think that worked quite nice. I'm happy with it. I think the same here. Here you can't really see it. You can't see it there. But anyway, I think that turned out. I really should get to finishing washing this thing. Okay. So what we're gonna do, to give you a view up here, here's the other side. Oh, okay, well, I don't think that's gonna stay. Let's try that. Be really careful. Okay, it stayed. We're good. We got it. Okay, that's it. So now, oops, the sunlight, I'm gonna try to reconfigure this now. Back up like that. There's those. All right, there's those. You know, the best way to get the roof, so I'm gonna do it, so I'm gonna get my ladder. It sounds excessive, it's like an 8-foot ladder, but I didn't think it was that dirty, but actually it kind of is. So if I'm gonna do this anyway, let's do it the right way. I'm gonna fall. That works. Can't even reach that. There we go. I probably should have started with the roof, huh? Brace yourself. I think that's the only way you can really reach it. Yeah, I should have started with the roof. I just didn't think it was that dirty. Kinda hard to tell. Here. Can't see what I'm talking about. You can see it here. This is clean and that's the dirt. Much better. Not super dirty, but still, I don't really get up here much. I'm gonna slide down one more. hit this section here, and then we'll flip to the other side. Definitely want to secure yourself. There's two things. You don't want to fall, and then you don't want to scratch your paint or your van. I have another video too where I replaced the tent. My God, that was excruciating. Actually, quite a few things are with this thing. Fixing the dash pad, I have a video on that. That was really excruciating. The tent, I think, might have been the most complicated. It's actually easier to replace the exhaust tubes than it would be to put a new tent on. It's just so tight. At least the one I had was. All right, other side. Be patient. There we go. Much better. Okay, start there. Be really careful. If you have any questions, I can answer them after I'm done with the roof. Check. Like I said, I'll show the engine after we're done. It's kind of a nice break. Let you think of something else besides, I don't know. What else could you be thinking about? And over here, we're done. Okay, now I got to come back and get the camera. Hang on. Getting there. Got it. Okay. Sure these are shut because I got to give it a good hose out. These things you'll know next time. All right, anybody have any questions? Live chat, all visible. Okay, sorry for the delay. For the Rad Rover e-biking, yeah, that's how I started my channel. No, I gave it to Juan. As you know, he helped me out a lot. And I gave it to him, and he gave it to a friend. It needed to be reconditioned. But I don't have the Rad Rover anymore. And fortunately, I haven't been e-biking or biking in general, just because we ended up, when van life had to come to a stop because of COVID, we were staying at our daughter's apartment for a while and literally just sleeping on the couch. They just had a one bedroom, so we're just like hunkered down. It's truly smidge life. And then after about 6 months, we were like, okay, this is going to go on for a while. So, you know, just doing van life isn't really the most effective thing. So we started looking at homes to purchase, and then we went back to being a homeowner. So that's kind of what happened there. And the bike, the last e-bike I will tell you that I was really interested in getting is there was a Stealth e-bike. In fact, it's called Stealth by Luna. I think it's Luna. Shows you like how rusty I am. But yeah, that's, I don't have the right. In fact, if I were to show you my garage, you're not gonna see one bike. There's not one bike. That's the video I just did on the pool table. That's a really cool portable pool table, so it doesn't become like a big piece of furniture. Check that video out. There's a little plug there. There's a bunch of like typical garage stuff there. And then this is nice. It's a 3-car garage that has a gym. So that's kind of cool too. So we'll play videos. My daughters will work out there. That was a tangent. I was just answering the question. What else do we have? You're welcome. And let's see. Yeah, the weather's been great. I mean, I can show you the view here where we are. It is quite nice. No complaints. I know a lot of people that I saw on the news, the weather around is really bad. But anyway, all right, so I do need to rinse this thing. So let me just quickly look and see. Yeah, I know, right? Well, the house came with purple. That's like Planet Fitness. In fact, that's like a whole thing. We were on Planet Fitness gym when we were doing van life. Then it is kind of ironic, but those guys, I wasn't thrilled with them. I didn't think they did people right. They were charging people, they charged us, even though they had clothes, you couldn't talk to anybody. Finally got the money back and canceled it, but I'm never signing up again ever with anything where it's through a checking account. And that's how Planet Fitness worked, right? I did that before years ago, and I told myself then I would never do it, but you know, who knew this was all gonna happen, right? But I don't recommend anything like that, because you just don't have as much that you can do. Or a credit card, you can dispute the charge a lot easier. I still was able to dispute it through my bank, but all right. Let's rinse this thing. Oh yeah, solar setup. Seriously, Google. Let me pull this up on my other phone. Hang on, guys. Let's do this. I'm gonna put it back like this. I need to rinse this thing. We do have some sun here. Okay. And I'll get to you on the solar setup. 1 second. Do the chat. Yeah. I'll just let me rinse the van, and then I'll tell you about the solar setup. I'll show you through the whole thing, and then you can check it out. But actually, I'm very happy with that. And Got a Split guy inspired me in Florida. He's got he does a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, so I'll show you. I'll walk you through that. Let's give it a good rinse. Solar panel. Next time you should probably wash the roof first, right? If we've learned anything today. We have to dry the thing. No. Wheels. what I can do is we'll start at the solar panel itself, and I'll dry that thing off, and then I can start my explanation then. But yeah, I was real happy the way it turned out. If you have a van also, let me know if yours has that same access hole area. All right. There's the panel. What I liked about this, actually there's a couple of things that I did differently than Got a Split did. Tilt it. These brackets, he drilled into his original fiberglass casing, I think differently. Or let's just say he drilled into it to create other holes. I leveraged the existing holes. So what I had to do is these clamps are nice, but these are kind of rusting a bit, at least on this part. I'm not thrilled about that. But these are spring loaded. Okay, that just happened. Let's just see if I can give you a shot of this. These are, yeah, see that? They're spring loaded. And then what you can do is you can release it on this side. You can release it on that side. Actually, all four can come off. You can release it. It's like a quick release. Also, if you want to angle it, so you can just do two sides, and then on the hinges, it'll pivot up. So that's it's a neat feature. For the most part, I don't do that. When you're camping though, and you're trying to get 100% sunlight, it's a good idea. So like I said, I use the existing holes. I just remove the cleats, I believe they're called. And in fact, you can see I remove the cleats here, and I remove the cleats here and there. Actually, I just removed them all. Repeating myself, but yeah, so I did that. So I'm using existing holes so you don't damage I wanted to keep the original as best I can. I mean, once you drill into the original fiberglass, kind of hard to backtrack. The other thing I will say, it's a little bit, it's not an exact science. So in some cases, like to get this bracket to fit, you see I had to put an extra like bolt in between, just on one side, so it would seat properly, right? Because it wasn't made for this exactly. So you have a perfect rectangle, but the thing it's sitting in isn't perfect. So on this one, I have two bolts that I had to like extend out for it to seat well. There's two, and I think there's two on that side. I can't explain why, but I had to remove one of them to get it to fit right. So you might need to customize the setup there. Then I also used, yeah, that's the existing. Okay, these are the existing holes. All right, let's see if we can get a good view here. From this angle, that is, oops, rotate, there we go. The drain holes up here in the luggage rack area, I put a, stop it, rotate. I put a mesh in there so that leaves and gunk don't get in there on the one side. And on this side, it's already kind of got very tiny, but I was able to run the solar lines through that hole. And then you see it pops out here. I've got it, you can see it right there. It's hard to film without falling and doing all this right here. So, and the wires, oh there, you can actually see, hopefully. I got that. Yeah, there. You can see them right there. So it's coming off the panel and transferring down. I need to dry the rest of the car, but and then it comes down through this channel. And the other thing I'll tell you is it doesn't make any additional noise or anything weird. And then the only thing you'll see visually is this little loop at the end. Now, I don't think it's that bad. It doesn't make any extra noise. You can just see it just give you a perspective. That's all it is, this like little loop that kind of comes out. But then there's an existing hole, at least with mine, that had air conditioning. And I just poked it through. It fit perfectly, didn't have to drill anything. So think about it. I was able to install the entire solar system without any drilling of holes. I didn't mess with the tent. That's the other deviation between Got a Split and myself. there is in the pop-up tent here between this guy and this guy, oops, this guy and this guy, you pop up the tent, and at the base of the tent, there's like an aluminum track. And he poked his wires from this guy, so his doesn't come down here. It actually is inside, and it rides along the base of the inside of his van. Mine's on the mine's on the outside. Then mine pokes back in, and I just put some sealant or whatever, rubber eyes stuff that doesn't mess it up, but just to seal that up in case rain or anything gets in. And then the wires come through the cabinet, and then I'll show you later. If you hang out, I'll show you later where that goes under the engine. Or not under the engine, but above the top there. So let's, I gotta dry this thing off, or I'm really kind of not helping myself. And it's all about me, really, at the end of the day. Just kidding. And then I'll answer some more questions in just a second. Then if you hang out, I'll also show you the engine bay, and I'll give you the latest and greatest updates on the engine. My little, why does that not want to stay? Okay, just a second, guys. It's like I've got a crew of one. Should have asked my daughter to help. There we go. Seriously? Thank you. Yeah, I was happy with not having to drill. That was one of the kind of prerequisites, if you will, in my mind. Okay, I'm having to lean this against the, there we go, the ladder. There, we'll do that. So bear with me, I'll come right back. I just want to dry this thing off. Otherwise we're in weird space. Lost track of the towel. Oh man, got one here. Thought I rinsed off the other one. Okay, so we're just going to dry this off, and then I'll get back to the chat, and then I'll show you the rest of the solar too. The Renogy, there's a Renogy computer, and it does a couple of different things. It can do as much as you want or as little. Right now I kind of have it on the more as little part, where it's just making sure that between the house battery and the engine battery, that I have enough power. If there's not enough power in the engine battery, it'll take power from the house battery. So that's kind of nice. And then the best solution, that's what I'm going to do, actually, I'll do a video on it here fairly soon, is I'm going to wire it into the entire system so that if my battery's dead, if all the batteries are dead, right, the house battery and the engine battery, it'll take the power from the sun, which is kind of the whole point, right? And it will, it'll charge both batteries, right? Or, and if your house battery's low, just driving the van alone, even as it is right now without the solar, it'll actually generate power, charge your house battery. So that part's nice as well. So again, it'll do as much or as little. It works really well. I'm very happy with the Renogy products. They're not sponsoring me or anything. I bought it with my own money, but seemed like a good company. Definitely one of the major players. If you've been looking at vans, van life, any of that. So, yeah, I think that's my next project, is to wire up the solar directly to that. Now, I did have, what we were doing when we were van lifing, it's kind of a strange, I'm going to squat down. When we were van lifing, the way we had it is, we had the solar was completely separated, and it was charging a charging unit. What the hell's the name of that? Like a battery pack. And so that was for our laptops and cell phones and everything else. And that worked really well. So that's what that was doing. And the Renogy, in the meantime, was just making sure that the rest of the system was charged up and ready to go. And so it was doing its thing. So when we were driving the van around, we always made sure that that charges the house battery. part's pretty neat. Before this van, someone had, the original, or the person I bought it from, they had a solenoid charger system, but it was just like, there was no intelligence to it. So, I mean, not that anything's wrong with that, but they say that the having a more intelligent way of charging your battery makes the battery last longer. It just makes sense, right? So we're just gonna dry this thing. This was not too bad to do. It just takes patience, but the putting in the new ports, I recommend. So you've got your water, your power, and that's for the water potable, if you will, water. So that's the kind you want to put in the nice filtered water. I've got a portable filter for this thing that I connect up the hose when we were van lifing it. So not that I drank we never drank the water, but it was just nice to know that we're putting in really clean water. And then I replaced all the hoses on the inside, because anytime you see the original hoses after 40 plus years, God knows my hoses after 40 years. Sorry, didn't mean to let too much comedy come out. I got to laugh. Okay. Here's the back window. Yeah, if you're these stickers, not a great win because they do falter after a while. I'm probably gonna remove them a little bit. Now they're hanging in there. Yeah, then we'll show you the engine bay. You can see that. All the money is definitely in that trunk area. I'll finish the solar walkthrough too if you just hang out. I should have started. You know, when you dry a car, you always start on the side that has the sun. I'm just trying to get this thing done. This will be mostly squared away. Okay, let's pause for a moment and clear this out. I'm thinking for this, the handle, I don't know if I can tune this thing at all, but it feels a little loose. But I wonder if they sell like a black stripe or some sort of protective stripe, because I'm not happy with the way that is dinging the paint. Okay. Windows. Oh, so Anytime Fitness. Sorry, just saw that comment. Same thing. Okay. Let's get to I'll do the wheels another time, I think, or later. I don't want to bore you guys with that. That's going to take more time to get into. I think we are good. I think that's it. Okay, so let's finish up the let's finish up the rest of the install with the solar. What is that? A little flake of something on my paint. Wonder if I should get like a clear, yeah, because I could see where you're going to get a lot of chips and stuff. Oh well, nothing's going to be perfect forever. Figure something out. That chirping sound you hear is this This guy right here, that tells me the tire pressure. It's solar powered, but it wakes up with motion. So it's kind of cool. I'm very happy with it. The only thing is that beeping noise at times, like if you're trying to be quiet and camping and you move around the van. Seriously? There we go. Yeah, it makes that noise. Okay. Now for the good stuff. Okay, so back to the solar piece. Lines are coming down. There is a hole with mine. Again, I had the this thing had air conditioning, but I since removed it, and that's actually now a storage bay. Open this up. This was my wife's closet when we were van lifing it. Here you can still see kind of some other goop that I had. I had to reseal it when they were painting the thing, but I put another sealant. Anyway, they poke through this hole. I didn't drill that. That's existing. Then it drops down, and then it comes across. Now, without having to do custom links or when you buy the solar lines, what a day. They come in various lengths. I think I bought a 20-foot, and so you can see here, it comes underneath, and it cuts it maybe a little bit short. So I just have to kind of do that. So when I take this engine bay cover off, you just have to be careful. But now with the other setup that I'm looking at, actually, I think that problem will be solved because I'll have some additional line distance. Okay, cool. So let's do the fun part now. Let's show you the engine. Oh, and then I'll get back to the solar too. So actually, let me do the solar next. I mean, I'll wrap up the solar piece. Yeah. Okay. There's the Renogy box, and that's what you want to see. I'm sorry. Let's make sure I can't tell if you can see. Let me stop moving this thing. Okay, why is that doing that? Let me adjust it. Hang on a second. Okay, and then lock. We're good. Okay, so this is the Renogy box. And again, this is the, I didn't cut anything here either. This is the original, like, I think this was like a rear heater or something. And the other owner before me actually removed it, so I didn't do that. But the lines are coming up through here for this Renogy piece. And I put it here. It needs to breathe. So if I just step back and you look at it, it's not bad. I mean, it really doesn't, even when you're sitting or whatever. So it's not like you're going to mess with anything. Those are my shoes, by the way. And it tells you whether you're charging off the alternator. Is that like too bright? Here, that's maybe better. Yeah. So that tells you if you're charging off the alternator, if you're charging off the sun. It tells you the status of your engine battery. And then that tells you your house battery type. So this one, that was another thing. I wanted to get a nice lithium battery in there. But because of the circumstances, we just never took it any further because we didn't need the power. We were still like in the city and still kind of doing things. I just didn't want to blow even more money when we're trying to dial in the engine at the time. So that's the way this guy is set up right now. Is actually I just have and I can show you. I can start the engine. You can see it'll charge. It shows the alternators charging. But this is very, very happy with this guy. In fact, I have the box. I just so happen to have the box right here. And it gives you it comes with some other doohickeys, cables, the manual, and it even has a sensor for temperature. So that is connected right now. It's also measuring the temperature of the house battery, which I can show you. So where's the house battery? Lift the rear seat up. So you can see I just lifted that up. And now There's the house battery. So that's the install. There's also the fuse. There's 2 fuses. There's one in line here, and there's another one outside, believe it or not. It's the way Arturo ran it. But, oh yeah, and this is the temperature sensor right here for this battery. So I think it's monitoring that to make sure that everything is copacetic. That's a good word to use. There's my rattle trap right there to deaden the noise. That works really well. But that's it. That's the, oh yeah, wait, hang on. I want to show you the solar lines. So the solar lines, sorry, and like everybody, I've got a lot of stuff. Actually, I had way more than we were van lifing it. There's not a lot in here right now. But let's clear this out here. Oh yeah, that's okay. That doesn't belong. Some miscellaneous parts. I got to clean all this up. Here we go. So this wire is up there. You can see that better. So it's just, I need a wire I need to clean up, but this is the temperature sensor wire that they give you. So that kind of belongs over there. And then here are my 2 solar lines right there. And this is what plugs into the external battery pack that we had. We'd plug that in the back and it would keep that little battery pack. And it was like yay big, like the size of a toaster. And so that's what we had. Like 0G, I think one of them's called. That's not what ours was called. Ours was like some knockoff version. But that worked really great. Very happy. Anyway, that's the solar. So again, if we, from the scratch, goes from the roof, wires run down there, come back around underneath here. This guy's managing it. And for the last piece, what I can do is start the engine to show you. I will show you, keep your eye on that LED. Once I crank up the engine, you will, you'll see that light come on. That might change as well, I don't recall, but you're definitely gonna see that kick in. So, give me a second. I'm in the front seat. Brake on, gear's not in, and we're gonna crank it up. It doesn't turn on right away. It's figuring out what's going on. Then, actually the battery is already green, so it might not even come on. I think it's happy, right? It's, oh, there we go. Yeah, so it's kicking in. So it's red, so it's telling you that the it's just checking. So it might even be the house battery that it's charging. So if I go and look at, this is the house battery for the Westphalia. So if I go and flip this switch, yeah, you'll see the house battery. This is saying green, so we're fully charged for the house battery, which again was under here, so that's healthy. So we're good to go. Nice. Yeah, but that's what it does. It'll look like that, and then, I don't know if you can see the colors, but that's red, green, and that's kind of a pink color. Okay. That is the solar system. Thank you very much for the explanation. You may. Oh yeah, that's a goal 0. Thank you. Yes, I am. So it was like a goal 0 system. Now we're going to show you the engine bay. This is a Go Westy engine with Van Cafe. I've got a lot of Van Cafe parts, hoses. Most of it went to Go Westy, but I've got a lot of Van Cafe stuff too. All right. So there's the engine right there. And the gas line, I just did a video on the gas lines. I highly recommend watching that because when they installed my gas lines, they put it too close to the, I thought anyway, way too long. You'll see it on the video. But you want to make sure that these are, and plus they weren't the right kind of clamps. These pincer kind of clamps with good hoses. I think those are German, actually from Germany. German hoses. That's it. Here's the Van Cafe hoses. We've got a, I think that's stainless steel. Because when they were installing the engine after a period of time, that one just cracked because I went through like 3 engines. It was terrible. This was something that I purchased. Artur did a great job installing this. The only thing is it really doesn't bring a lot. So I don't know, because the funny part is with the Vanagon, I thought, okay, cool. This is the aluminum reservoir for the radiator fluid. I thought that's awesome. That looks really cool. And the funny part is you fill it up here. This is your reservoir where you can actually see it, which makes sense. But that's like another reservoir for it. So I don't know. Afterwards, I was kind of like, well, why did I do that? I don't know. Just some things you learn as you go. But yeah, there's, oh, and then let's look underneath. So the one thing you'll always love if you're a Vanagon person is, let's see if we can get up here. Get underneath. A oil-free underneath. Look at that. No oil on that engine at all. And in fact, Go Westy hooked me up. They were so nice. When we were having these initial leaks and stuff, issues, that is a Go Westy stainless, I think, rod protector. Forget what they call those rods. Oh, jeez. You can tell I'm an IT guy. I'm not I'm not into the engine stuff very much, but I still love doing stuff on it. So fun. Anything else you guys are interested in, let me know. I think that's it. That wraps it up. But that's it. And you get a lot of, yeah, I tell you what, just the one thing I'll say, it is so much fun to camp in this thing. If you just get beyond all the crap that I've done to it, it is so much fun to camp in it. You can just pull up to a campsite, deploy your tent, something I should probably do right now, and dry off actually. So if you want to hang out, we can do that. Okay, sorry for that. Just kind of working through this. Let's deploy the tent. Make for some interesting. I haven't actually opened this tent since it got painted. What could go wrong? Who knows? All right, let me put the engine cover back. That's done. For the most part, it's built like a tank. Shall we take you inside? Come in. Let's go take a view here. And then set it right there. You can see. So to deploy the tent is actually quite easy. You just squeeze these two pieces there, and it goes up. And this is that's the tent. And I'll show you the outside. So just real quick on that solar thing, for those of you hanging out for that, got a split. He ran his underneath this rail. He unscrewed this rail here, and his actually came through and ran up and then down this channel, I believe. You can check out his video. If you're installing your tent, my feedback is start with the back, the rear. Oh, look at that. I did a video on this too, by the way. It's a good backpack, but I don't need it there anymore. So I would actually start with the back. I went with the directions, which maybe it's right. I don't think, you know, who knows? I don't think it was, but I started with the front. And it's super easy. You're like, oh, this is a piece of cake, right? You're screwing it together. Well, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And so I'm in the back, and you can't have the tent fully deployed when you're installing this thing because it's impossible. Look how, I mean, you could bounce a quarter off it. So you have to have it low. And I was in there low, and I'm in Irvine. Sorry, hang on. Anyway, I'm in Irvine, and it was extremely hot that day, and I'm in there, and it's just super tight. So it was extremely difficult to get to. All right, 1 second. Let's get a better camera angle. Tips on. Oh, for looking for a Vanagon. Yeah, absolutely. That is a dang good question. All right, so if I were to do this all over again, it's a lot to take in. Oh, there. There, it actually looks really good there. Oh yeah, and I should dry that off. So let me answer that question. Let me just, I gotta grab a towel though. So if I were to look for a van today, I would, so at the time, okay, so this is interesting. I would say it kind of depends. If you're looking to do a lot of camping and a lot of traveling around the US or wherever you are, if you're gonna put a lot of miles on it, I'll put it that way. I would probably go with something that had, it was in a better, the body was in a better condition. Mine was in good shape, like the engine was in good shape, but it had some dings and dents and stuff. So I thought, okay, not a big deal. I'll get that fixed and then go from there. Well, then what happened with us is about 3 months or so into, actually no, it was like maybe even the second month of van life, the hoses blew, the engine overheated. And I'm telling you, in these things, like you may have heard people say, if you get a red buzzer light and a warning light that your temperature's going through the roof, pull over immediately and stop, because you'll get a new engine otherwise. And that's what happened to us. I was like, oh, that can't possibly be right, because it just skyrocketed. What happened is the hose bursted. So there was nothing left in the radiator. And that was the most costly expense. So anyway, so back to what I would look for. I would look for something that had a nice body, but the engine, if it were a little iffy, I think I would look past that, because I probably would either, again, it depends on how much money you want to spend and if you're going to do a lot of miles. If you're going to do a lot of miles, I would probably get myself a rebuilt engine, like budget to put in another $8,000 on top of it. It depends on your budget. If you're just going to have it for like keeping around, going to the beach and do local stuff, then you're probably going to be fine. It varies. I mean, prices, like I said, I've spent over 40,000 on mine. But you'll see, I've got a lot of videos on it. We didn't plan on that, but look for that. The other thing you want to look for is the condition of the hoses, obviously, because that's where I got burned. Even though my hoses looked fine, that's the thing. It's so hard to tell, because the hoses looked fine. I even took it in Costa Mesa, there's a place that works on Vanagons, and Mesa West. And they looked at the hoses. I asked them, I said, well, do you think they need to be replaced? They're like, oh no, they're in good shape. They looked good, but age is age. They were the age they were, and you know, this is the most that van had been pushed in, I think, a long time. We were using it every single day. There's that leaking. A lot of vans, we looked at some that were leaking and smoking. Tips on non-engine. Yeah, that was another concern of mine too, is like rust and stuff like that. There's so many things, because people camp in these, right? And some people are careful and some aren't. You know, it's funny, there are even places my wife and I considered renting to rent these to camp in. I told my wife, after going through what I've been through, I cannot imagine right now just giving this thing to someone and saying, yeah, just go take it and go camping in it. It would be so stressful, because it really becomes like, you know, your child, and you put so much blood, sweat, and tears and money and everything into it that you have a hard time even letting anybody else drive it. So it gets kind of funny that way. But yeah, this back to the rust and things like that. East Coast, like if you get one on the East Coast or whatever, that would concern me. I don't know if I would. I didn't go that route. This one, and that's okay. This is funny. At least it is to me. Doesn't take much. So that you'll notice if you look carefully, something on my license plate, Beverly Hills. If you, when we looked at this one, I thought, okay, well maybe they just did that sarcastically, but this actually was purchased the very first day, day one. It was purchased from Beverly Hills in Volkswagen. In yeah, that's where it's from. This is a California van, and it's been ever since. There's no rust on this thing at all. It's extremely clean. So I would be really nervous if you are looking at a van somewhere else. The nice part, so areas you can look at, definitely look at the engine bay. I did drive some that were in California that really, they were leaking, and it was people like, oh yeah, you just need to, you know, replace a seal, it'll be fine. I mean, if you look at some of my other engine videos on leaking, it's not like that. It is so complex as to what the problem could be. I don't know. I just didn't, I wouldn't go that route. The other thing, if you want to look for rust and what good shape it's in, so here, so I would look in a couple places. Under here in the seat, look for like rust or any kind of like yucky stuff under the seat. The other thing I would look at is, see these doors here? This access door? You want to look in and see there's a line. You have a dog. Okay, so here, I had a little bit of water damage, but that's the clean water line. I put in a fresh water line, and that's an electrical red thing going that way from the house battery. But in front of it is the water line. That's a fresh, brand new one. I would look at the water line. I would look for things like this. Now, this is just like some brief damage. It's all dried up. You know, it's not like wet now. You want to look at that. I would look under the sink. Those are brand new lines, by the way, that I put in. But you definitely want to look in the sink area. This little compartment, yes, that is toilet paper. Like I said, we were using this thing. We weren't using the sink for the toilet. This comes up. I'm not going to do it now because it's a pain. But underneath, I would look underneath this. I would make sure that's in good shape. The gas lines also come up through here. Now, I did the the delete kit. You end up deleting the gas line that goes to the refrigerator, which is usually here. You can see I have nothing. So this is the delete kit, and that's a very nice kit because that's like a little padded, you know, simulated leather. That's not real leather. I'll put that toilet paper there. Don't tell anybody. But anyway, seriously, more toilet paper. But that's, so I would look there. So engine bay for leak, I would look for rust, and I would look for damage. How bad is it? How much did they use the sink area? I would look, yeah, that's also, this guy pops up. Ours is in good shape. Now I replaced this entire system, but I would look under here. See, mine's got a little bit of like some rustish corrosion going on, but it's not, the sink was always in pretty good shape like it is now. I mean, this was just towels that we have because it'll rattle if you don't put something there. But ours was in pretty darn good shape. And then this comes down too. That comes down. And that was always very clean. So, you know, look for the areas where there's water and how they used the van itself. I'm trying to think of other areas, but that's really the main areas. By the way, this is where the AC was originally. Now, these are like screw-on knobs that I put. And this comes out, like this unscrews, that unscrews, and this panel pops off, and I've got a storage area. So it's kind of like a hidden storage, other than you knowing about it right now. But don't tell anybody. That's what that's about. So That's, I think, the main things. The other thing, look at my dash. All of the dashes end up getting, I think, weathered and beat up and messed up. Um, I kind of, I restored it to the level that I wanted to. I didn't go crazy. I'm still happy because it's got this kind of leathered look to it. Some people might not like that. Some might want it to be perfect. I did a whole video on this. A lot of dust was underneath. And it's super scary when you remove all the screws and you're trying to get it out. No, by the way, the other pain in the ass, not to complain. There's a lot to complain about, but it's worth it. Okay. So when you're removing the dash, that's not too bad. This is easy. This thing comes off easy. But when you're removing the dash, you remove these screws. You've got some screws across there. But you also need the steering column. And it comes with, you can tell if something's original if you unscrew the cowling here and look at it. Mine, you can see right there, that shiny bolt. So the original Vanagon design, it's got these like safety bolts that you can't, you have to have like a special tool to undo it. Juan, my very amazing friend to have in electronics and other things, he had a cutter, so he was able to cut it off. But you need to remove those two bolts, or four, I think there's four of them, security bolts, and I replaced it with standard bolts. So you have to pull that down. But anyway, that's another area. If you look for, there's a ton of dust usually in those too, because people take these off road, they go to events. Remember when we used to do things like that? So, but that's those are the things I'd look at. There's not a lot that can go wrong, I don't think, in the front, other than your rack and pinion. So I didn't even know there was a rack and pinion. I've got power steering. I would recommend power steering, but mine, at some point, the rack and pinion steering gave out. So if you look here, what does that say? I can't tell, but that's it right there. That is a brand new or rebuilt, brand new rebuilt rack and pinion, and that's that tag. Actually, I should just remove that tag. I don't know what it says, but it's probably an invoice. But that's a brand new rack and pinion. Now, if it's leaking, here's the thing. I'm like, how do you know? How do you know what's going on with your rack and pinion? If it's got red fluid dripping from the front, that's one way of knowing, and that's how I knew. So then I had to take it in. But this is the van right here in a nutshell. See if there's any other questions. Live chat. Okay, weekend trips and stuff like that. I would just, if I were to give a price point on a van that probably would be good for camping, I think you probably want to spend at least 20. And if you have the room, probably closer to 30. But between, I'd say probably like 20 grand to get you a decent one that you could do that with. Oh, those wires are there. Is that in all the way? Yeah, it is. Sometimes you're like, is that seated right? But they're just so much fun, and so many people love them. But it takes a long time to dial them in. It really does. But that's part of the love, right? It comes with owning it. So, if there are any other questions, but check out Go West, not Go Westy. Got a Split. I like his channel, and he's got another friend of his. Forget his name. There's another guy. I'll put some of the channels in the chat after that I subscribe to, that have done some cool stuff. Oh, Flossy Missiles, I think is his name. It's the weirdest. People have some interesting. No offense, but But Flossy Missiles, yeah, he's done some interesting things on his van too that he did. But yeah, it's it takes a while, but it looks good. Hey, Justine, you going for a walk?
Yes. Hello, everyone. How's the washing going?
It's going well. We're pretty much wrapping it up.
Cool.
Got it fully deployed and clean. Should probably dry like up through there. It's probably dusty, but it will. I'm sure it'll get some more weathering here, but hopefully we can get it out to Joshua Tree here relatively soon. That is all I got. Thank you very much. No, I appreciate you watching, and everybody stay safe. And that's it for now. Hopefully some of the next, just real quick, one thing I just want to add in there. One of the things I installed for the house that I'm gonna do a video on too is this product right here, this Tailwind. It's really, really a neat thing where you can, wow, the lighting. There we go, go back outside. But what it does is for the garage, it'll monitor it, and it's hooked up to the internet as well. It will, if your garage is left open for a period of time, someone forgets to shut it, you can do it remotely. The other neat feature I like about it too is once you have your Bluetooth set up with your phone in your car, as your car approaches within so many miles, not miles, feet, it'll automatically open up. So I don't know, just kind of a cool, it's not super expensive, but it's a neat little feature. I'm gonna do a video on that one too. And then I'll do a video on the solar. I'll finish the solar, and you'll see how that's connected into the Renogy system. So those are my little videos, and I've got maybe one more, which is like a smart water heater system that you can connect up. This is a brand new water heater, but now all of them come with COM ports. There's a product now that you can get that is a smart system, also internet-based, lets you plug it in, and it monitors, and it's supposed to set the temperature and save you money. So I'm gonna give that a shot, I think, eventually too. But that's all I got. Oops, let's see. So we'll say one last goodbye to the van. You guys stay safe, take care, and we'll talk at you later. And we will end this. Thank you very much.